Hello everybody, welcome to Blue Marble Science. Our favorite pseudoscientist, the Sleeping Warrior, has been looking at old Scientific Americans, and he's found an article that suggests that government-funded research might actually be politically based. Well, if the government's providing the funding, I think you might be right, Anthony. Politics might have something to do with it. Oh, by the way, stop playing with that egg. Warning. Severe facial and monitor damage alert is in effect. Get out those oven mitts. Push the monitors back out of punching range. And Gladys? Let's light this dumpster fire and have some fun.
Well, Scientific American does it again. Writing for Scientific American, Ubada Sabag on April the 25th quotes, "Science has always been inseparable from politics. Scientific research does not take place in a vacuum. It can only happen with society's blessing." Even now, on the heels of the March for Science, we see some scientists hesitate to acknowledge the fact that science is political. Let's just say that again. We see some ball earthers hesitate to acknowledge the fact that science is political. And cinemize it with words like unbiased and rational, divorcing it from our human capriciousness.
Having trouble there, Chief? Let's see if we can help you out.
Capriciousness.
Want to hear it again?
Capriciousness.
There you go. It means the quality of being guided by sudden, unpredictable impulses. Kind of like you.
It's quite natural to associate those notions with science. After all, you'd be hard-pressed to find a more objective way of discovering the true nature of nature than by utilizing the power of the scientific method.
The only point of the scientific method is to make sure you are not fooled into thinking that something is true that is not, or thinking that something is not true that is. That is the only point.
But there's an important distinction to be made between science and the scientific method. We use the scientific method to minimize bias and maximize objectivity. That is what's rational and unbiased. The scientific enterprise, however, is not, and it's nothing short of clinging to a fanciful myth to suggest that it ever was.
I want you to pay attention to what Sleeping Warrior's trying to do, because I think it's indicative of how panicked the Flat Earth movement has become. They have realized that they cannot prove a single allegation. They cannot use the scientific method to demonstrate any of their claims, not a one. And the only thing they've got left now is to try and totally discredit everything. What Anthony is doing here is he's trying to say that science, the scientific method, and the scientific enterprise are all one and the same thing. And that is not true. That's just simply wrong, Anthony. The scientific enterprise is the funding of science. And when it has to do with government funding, obviously it's political. If this administration doesn't particularly believe in the concept of climate change, then climate change won't get a lot of money dedicated to it. On the other hand, if the administration that comes in next says, oh yeah, we got to go and do something about that, then it'll get a lot of money. Obviously, there is a political aspect to it. That has nothing to do with science and the scientific method. I think you guys are getting scared, aren't you?
The reality is that engaging in scientific research is a social activity and an inherently political one. Let's say that. The reality is that engaging in scientific research is a social activity and an inherently political one. Imagine for a moment that you are going to start a new country today, or indeed preach that we live on a ball.
Okay, Sleeping Warrior, we see where you're going with this. You guys have failed miserably at trying to prove the earth is flat using science, and so now you're going to try and discredit science. You're trying to say that science is just politics. Well, when governments fund research work, yeah, there's political aspect to it, no doubt about that. But the science itself is not political. Now, we've shown you an experiment and observations that confirm the accepted circumference of the earth within 25 miles. Bob the Science Guy and I did that this past spring. But we did it at two different latitudes, and we proved that either the earth is spherical or the sun can somehow be at two different altitudes at the same time. Obviously, that's impossible. I've demonstrated gas pressure in an open system. Now, if you want to use the layman's vernacular and call that a container, go right ahead. But it is an open system in thermodynamics. And the only way that gas pressure and the pressure gradient that it exhibits could exist is if it is within the gravitational field of the Earth. I've also shown you gravitational acceleration using the MEMS accelerometers in my cell phone. Of course, you turned around and tried to say that I was weighing my phone. Yeah, right. But in addition to that, Anthony, you've seen gyro compasses, Foucault pendulums, you've seen hours and hours of high-altitude helium balloon video by Dwayne Kellum, all of which clearly shows Earth curvature. You know what? I think maybe it's time for you guys just to break camp and head for the hills. What do you say to that? Yep, that's pretty much what I thought you'd come up with. Tell you what, just keep on clucking, chicken. Hey, thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you feel like it, visit our Patreon account. There's the address. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Hey, Gladys. We're out of here.